Morning, welcome back, you hungry Rizzlers. Based on statistics, one of those things is probably true. As a human being, if you're gonna be moving around, doing daily tasks, and I don't know, rizz-offs with other people, you gotta eat something first. Whether it's a sad single granola bar or a giant TV sitcom breakfast, we need some form of nutrients in our body to get us through the day. Thankfully, we live in nicer times where we don't have to hunt and gather resources like our lives depended on it. And not having to worry about if a 20-foot T-Rex will be turning our settlement into a pit stop for lunch is also nice. We have so many options now. There are those who eat to survive and those who eat for pleasure and vibes. I mean, with the way food has evolved from loaf of bread, brick of cheese, a whole ass bell pepper eaten like an apple, as the Balkans do, to something flashy and eccentric meant for farming views. It's a given that the entire eating process would eventually turn into a Hunger Games style eating spectacle. Peter, the horse is here. And it's got 6-day-old Crumbl cookies. Here's a lesson many of us have learned the hard way. In this lifetime, there's always going to be someone watching over you like a hawk. Just kidding. They're watching you like a hawk so they can scam you. But at least with social media now, we can share our bad experiences with others so they can avoid getting scammed. Mi casa de estafa, su casa de estafa. Learn that from my Duolingo app from Temu. Unfortunately, once you get scammed and you start warning people about it, the bad thing that happened has probably swept through your entire friend group. Oh man, not these guys again. Look, for someone who's never tried Crumbl and has only made a video yapping about them, my feelings about this brand are still pretty neutral, although I did set a date. On October 14th, Edvasian will be going to Crumbl for the first time, cause he wants to try the cornbread cookie. Mark your calendars, review coming soon. For some continents like Australia, who have never gotten the chance to eat these all-American bread sweet treats, they might be feeling a bit of FOMO, which is why the first Crumbl Cookie pop-up store opened up in Sydney recently, and the Aussies got to check out what all the American fuss is about. At first glance, this just looks like a regular Crumbl pop-up store, right? With their iconic pink boxes, pink plastic tablecloths, great for art project looking menu, with not a single person baking in sight. Kinda weird for a bakery that sells baked goods. Once we take a closer look at the situation, there is definitely more than meets the eye here. Just like our sponsor, June's Journey, a free to download hidden object mobile game. If you're into murder mysteries, beautifully crafted game artwork, an intriguing storyline, all set during the secretive 1920s, you should tag alongside Detective June Parker as she searches for the culprit behind the murder of her sister. As you discover new secrets, you'll meet a colorful cast of characters who all seem like potential suspects. It's up to you to figure out their motives, while also taking part in events and special competitions to earn in-game prizes. There's always something happening right around the corner. I only have so much time to appreciate the artwork in each chapter, since I'm always locked in ready to get a new high score by finding clues really fast. Cause hitting that max point multiplier feels awesome. It's also a game that's really easy to pick up and play, which is something I appreciate. No need to learn 1,000 different instructions during the first 5 minutes. Plus, you get to show off your creative side by customizing your estate to fit your own style. It's kind of making me want to live here with all this pristine looking garden space. You can play on Android, iOS, as well as on PC through Facebook Games. Download June's Journey by clicking the link below in the description or by scanning the QR code on the screen. So quick Sparks notes on Crumbl cookies. They are a cookie brand from the US, well known for their rotating menu with 6 new flavors every single week. Over the years, they've built up a sort of cult following, where you either like them to the point where you do Crumbl hauls and Crumbl cookie mukbangs where people will eat an entire box in one sitting, which is crazy since one cookie is basically an entire meal calorie-wise. Or you might be in the camp of, yeah, I tried it, but they're too sweet, too overhyped, and too squishy for me. Crumbl has done a very good job with their branding on social media. Till this day, people are still making Crumbl cookie content since the menu is constantly refreshing itself. The audience needs reviews before deciding if they want to spend $5 to $6 on a life-shortening dessert. So when rumors appeared all over social media that Sydney, Australia was gonna get its first ever Crumbl cookie, the Aussies, mate, they were excited like a bunch of kangaroos at a kickboxing match. Can you tell that I've only met like 2 Australian people in my life? Everyone was so excited that they ignored all the red flags surrounding this pop-up store. First of all, their unique Sydney Instagram account got banned, and then because of flight delays from the US, they had to postpone the opening hours of their store. Now why would that have an impact on the opening? Does a professional business usually say cookies secured? Like, what'd that mean? They hired bodyguards for the cookies? Or maybe they can't open the store because they're flying professionally trained Crumbl cookie bakers from the US to bake the cookies from scratch? Turns out, this was a DIY store set up by Crumbl Cookie enthusiasts who only wanted to share their love for this pink cookie brand by buying cookies from the US as a regular customer and then reselling the cookies after they've flown economy in someone's suitcase. They spent around 3,500 USD dollars, which should be roughly about 600 to 700 cookies. Actually, they spent closer to 5,000 if you convert that to Australian dollars. Yikes. Although I am impressed, how did they get all these cookies across the border and through customs without any problems? Like, I can't even get past security if I have a tablespoon of water on me. You can technically import baked goods into Australia, but only for personal consumption. Don't tell me they somehow convinced security they were gonna eat all of these themselves. Well, actually, I've seen how crazy mukbangs can get, so sort of believable. Maybe Crumbl Cookie Sydney were the real 2 steps ahead video all along. Once people started queuing up for the Crumbl Cookie pop-up store, they started to realize, uh-oh, what did I do? Why is each cookie priced at $17.50 instead of the usual $5? And why is the menu giving a 5-minute paint job in MS Paint? And why are people who lined up for almost an hour complaining they could taste the travel time and essence of airport in their cookies?
It's something I can make that for this stubborn 6. Already a 9. It was fresh, so these are breaking apart. In terms of freshness, 0 out of 5. Just this. Twix? It's a 3 out of 10. Out of 1. 1 out of 10? Crunchy sucks. Okay, anyways, raw rating, I'd give mine at 8 out of 10. Was it worth waiting in line for 45 minutes? Maybe yes, because there's no crumble here, but no, because people were fighting and the cookies are $17. You should look at the wheel, it's like falling apart.
The lip look.
That's yummy.
It just kind of looks
Yeah, I
like
could
it's from a
have
bake sale,
I
you
could have
know?
done that.
Honestly, it's really good.
Think.
Credit is violently hungover.
Girls,
We've got milk too.
you're a cookie aficionados. What do you think?
You don't like it?
I
No.
don't like it.
Lean
You don't
in,
like
lean
it?
in,
No, I
lean
don't
in.
like it.
I'd like to dunk mine in milk, but
No, just get it full.
I don't like it.
Not my
You're
favourite
allowed
either.
to like it. You're allowed to like it.
I
Don't
don't
just say you don't like it because Greta doesn't like it.
Yeah.
I spent $150 on 10 cookies. Let's just be the regular.
That looks good.
Oh wow, look at that.
Large
Look
chunks
at
of
that
chocolate
opening
chip.
that up. Oh my god.
Good.
It's delicious.
There you go.
Thank you.
It's delicious.
it's still a little warm.
Is it warm because the store reheated the cookies before serving it to people? Or is it because of the kinetic energy from rumbling around in a suitcase all day? The creators of this pop-up store then posted a statement after this disaster of a launch, explaining their whole process of importing these cookies from the US, their profit margins, and why they priced them so high, while also clarifying this specific event was not endorsed by Crumbl themselves. Crumbl cookies should be kept at room temperature in an airtight container for up to 3 days, or refrigerated for up to 7 days. We kept them to these requirements. Some were warmed to enhance their texture, which is what Crumbl does as well. While most customers enjoyed the cookies, a couple of influencers felt they didn't meet expectations. We apologize that they don't live up to expectations. However, they are just cookies at the end of the day. While there may be a small difference in quality, some flavors may not appeal to some people, a lot of people have reached out to us who were there saying they were delicious and thank you for selling them. Okay, yeah, stale suitcase cookies aren't gonna kill ya. Don't you have better things to worry about other than cookies? Okay, well, crap from a butt is still poop. I heard that from someone before. This doesn't change the fact that you still sold people a bad product that was marketed in a sketchy way. And I don't think the flavors you chose and the small quality differences are the main issue here. Crumbl bakes their cookies fresh every single day without preservatives. These ones were 30,000 feet in the air for 24 hours and got a sightseeing tour of the Atlantic Ocean. Not a super small quality difference in my opinion. When you have such a strong brand image with loyal customers, people will overlook things even when it's right in front of them. The psychology of why people like to stand in lines needs to be studied. Doesn't matter if it's for a good restaurant, a meet and greet, or a well-traveled dessert. If there's hype around it, we will form a line and wait. The founder of Crumbl even commented on a TikTok of someone who went to the Crumbl pop-up store, telling them to come to the US instead so you can try Crumbl fresh. He's probably really happy that we now know people will in fact pay $20 for a single cookie. If Crumbl prices do go up by 300% in the next few years, you'll know who to blame. Speaking of getting scammed by baked goods, baking is a technical skill that takes time, time, precision, and a lot of patience if it's something you actually want to perfect. You can't just whip things together and go with your gut feeling like an Asian mom speed running through the kitchen at 8 p.m. Why don't they ever have measurements when you ask them for recipes? If your friend makes you a Nora Smith looking birthday cake from scratch, you know they care about you. Like this guy named Ryan, who always makes his friends really nice looking head-sized cakes for their birthdays. This one in particular took him about 5 to 6 hours to make, and you can tell with the way it looks like someone just yanked it out of a baking magazine. Bringing your own birthday cake to a restaurant for a special event is a pretty normal thing to do. Restaurants see their fair share of Facetune model-esque looking cakes, all the way to quirky and eccentric ones on a daily basis. In the philosophical words of 5 women scholars from Korea, cake, 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 cake. It's a piece of cake, 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 cake. For this birthday cake, Ryan wanted to cut it himself at the restaurant, but unfortunately they wouldn't let him because they deemed it a safety hazard. Which is fair, it's also pretty standard for restaurants to take the cake to the kitchen and cut it before serving it. I do want to mention, they are eating at a high-end steak restaurant, and unless everyone is eating their slab of meat yabba dabba doo Flintstone style, by your logic, isn't everyone in the restaurant holding a sharp-ass knife a safety hazard? Like, there's a baby over there about to cut into his fillet minion, bro. Well, whatever. Maybe it's just protocol. Maybe it's not classy to cut birthday cake at this type of dining establishment. But ruh-roh, Raggy, things started to look spooky when Ozempic-looking slices of cake started getting served.
Again, you can see how big this cake is compared to my friend, so it's not small. And I actually had called the restaurant ahead of time to ask if I could do the cake cutting instead of them, but they said that was a safety hazard, so they ended up taking the cake back into the kitchen to serve it. Now, these are some of the slices that we were served of the cake, and you can really see here just how thin the cake slices were. We're looking at a few millimeters of thickness. So just doing some rough estimation, there were 12 of us at the dinner. If we're each served a slice about this size, or maybe it's a little bigger, that's gonna be about half that of that massive cake. Definitely not all the cake was served to us. And so then at the end of the dinner, when we had asked our waiter where the cake leftovers were, we're expecting them to bring out the remaining half of the cake. But instead, they just say that there's no cake left. So the only explanation is that this high-end New York City Midtown steakhouse took the cake back into the kitchen, cut all of us meager slices of cake to eat, and they had just eaten the rest of it for themselves.
If you're gonna steal someone's entire birthday present, at least be smart about it. I feel like they could have gotten away with it if they served the slices of cake a little bigger. But that's insane. Can't believe we have to put GoPros in our celebratory cakes to avoid getting scammed now. Yo, this cake crunchy. Anyone taste microplastics? I think it's the sprinkles we're eating. Oh, there goes my tooth. Birthday cakes, especially ones that are this size, are meant to be enjoyed for breakfast, lunch, and dinner over the course of 5 days. I know when I'm serving birthday cake to friends, I always push people to take more home because I start getting cake sweats on day 3. Thankfully, there is an update on this situation, and the restaurant did try to make amends after getting review blasted on social media.
They looked into the security footage within the kitchen, and they did confirm that a portion of the cake they neglected to give back to my friends and me as our rightful cake leftovers, and that they most likely forgot about it and that it was left in the kitchen. They were super kind, and they offered a free dinner for 2 back at their restaurant to make up for, obviously, this whole situation. So obviously it's disappointing that we didn't get our leftovers, but most likely what happened, and I do have to think, is that it was a busy Saturday night, and there's a lot of things that are going on in the restaurant, and unfortunately my cake just ended up on the chopping block at the end of the night.
I guess that's the way the piece of cake crumbles. Some things don't really add up here, but we can only take the restaurant's words with a hint of side-eye since we weren't there to see the footage. No, your waiter said there wasn't any cake left, so how could they forget? They are lying! But you are so sweet. You are too forgiving. Exactly. And it's getting on my nerves. Right? Like, immediately fine with it? That's not even kindness. That's being a pushover. Oh, Plot twist. One thing about the internet, if there's an angry mob, people will join. Some commenters didn't like the fact that he just accepted the restaurant's offer and didn't push back for more. What exactly do you expect him to do at this point? Head back into the kitchen, the bear style, and have a straight-on brawl with the staff? You gotta pick your battles, man. It's easy to talk big behind a keyboard when you weren't there in that specific situation. Not everyone has a blonde Karen wig on standby, and is willing to risk having a video of them duking it out with the line cook plastered all over the internet. Even the baker of the cakes had to chill out with the hate comments and review bombs. I mean, just think about those poor morning staff who had to show up the next day who had nothing to do with the situation. Hey Jeff, funny question for you. When I was getting out of my car, someone ran past and egged my window yelling "Birthday Cake Gate 2024. Do you know what that's about? I don't know. That's weird. Wow, going through all this food drama has made me hungry. Can't wait until the day I can finally eat that Crumbl cookie I've been making room for. There's a lot of stuff in here I need to clear out first. We're thinking minimalism for decor. If I'm gonna commit to a Crumbl cookie mukbang where I eat 6 entire cookies in one sitting, I'm gonna have to go in with a negative calorie deficit of 8,000. This is a joke, please eat and never do that. But just like the YouTube algorithm, I'm gonna go ahead and recommend my stomach something to munch on. Gotta do it now before I crash at dinner and help myself to a stranger's birthday cake. You hitting the like button on this video will feed everyone here at this present moment. In return, you'll get fed with more of this and this, with no scams in sight. Have a good day, try not to be dumb, and see you in the next one. And don't forget, you can download June's Journey for free using my link in the description or by scanning the QR code.